stop. Before you take one more bite of your breakfast tomorrow morning, you need to watch this. Because right now, today, millions of people are sitting down to eat what they think is a healthy morning meal. They're feeling good about it, maybe even proud of it. And they have absolutely no idea that it is slowly, quietly destroying their heart. I'm not talking about fast food. I'm not talking about donuts or bacon or anything you already know is bad for you. I'm talking about something far more dangerous. Because it's hiding in plain sight. It's marketed as healthy. It's in your grocery store on the good for you shelf. And the food industry has spent billions of dollars making sure you never find out the truth. My name is Dr. James Harlan. I'm a cardiologist with over 22 years of clinical experience. I've treated thousands of heart patients, men and women who did everything they were told to do. They exercised, they avoided red meat, they took their medications, and yet, they still ended up in my office. Some of them ended up on my operating table. And when I started asking questions, really digging into their daily habits, one pattern kept showing up over and over again. It wasn't what they were eating for dinner, it was what they were eating for breakfast. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 breakfast habits quietly damaging your cardiovascular system, ranked from concerning all the way to the number 1 habit that I believe is responsible for the silent heart attack epidemic we are seeing right now in people under 50. And trust me, number 1 is going to shock you. I've had patients cry in my office when they realized they'd been doing it for 20 years, thinking it was good for them. Stay with me, because the information in this video could genuinely save your life, or the life of someone you love. Let's start with number 5. Number 5. Starting your morning with healthy fruit juice. I know what you're thinking. Dr. Harlan, fruit juice is natural, it has vitamins. My doctor told me orange juice is fine. And that's exactly the problem. Here's what nobody is telling you. When you squeeze a fruit, or worse, when a factory does it and puts it in a carton, you are removing the one thing that makes fruit safe for your heart. The fiber. Fiber is the gatekeeper. It slows down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream. Without it, you're not drinking fruit. You're drinking sugar water with a vitamin label on it. A standard glass of orange juice contains nearly 26 grams of sugar. That hits your bloodstream within minutes of your first sip. Your pancreas panics. It floods your body with insulin. And over time, day after day, morning after morning, that repeated insulin spike triggers something called chronic low-grade inflammation. And inflammation is the true silent killer of the cardiovascular system. I had a patient, Marcus, 44 years old, marathon runner, non-smoker. Came to me after a mild cardiac event and I could not figure out why. His cholesterol was fine, his blood pressure was controlled, but his inflammatory markers were through the roof. We went through his entire diet, and there it was. Every single morning, 2 glasses of 100% natural orange juice. He'd been doing it for 15 years, thought he was being healthy. The fix? Eat the whole fruit, not the juice. 1 orange, 1 apple. You get the sweetness, the vitamins, and the fiber that protects your heart. Simple swap. Massive difference. Number 4. Skipping breakfast entirely and why intermittent fasting can backfire. Now, before the fasting community comes for me, I'd listen carefully. I'm not saying fasting is bad. Done correctly, it has real benefits. But here's what the influencers selling you fasting programs are not telling you. When you skip breakfast and your body has been without food for 10, 12, 14 hours, your cortisol levels are at their absolute peak. Cortisol is your stress hormone. And in the morning, chronically elevated cortisol does something very specific and very dangerous to your heart. It raises your blood pressure, it increases arterial stiffness, and it triggers your liver to dump excess glucose into your bloodstream, even though you haven't eaten a single thing. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who regularly skipped breakfast had an 87% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to those who ate a morning meal. 87%. Let that land for a moment. I had a 38-year-old female patient, professional, busy, always rushing, who had been skipping breakfast for 3 years because a wellness podcast told her it would help her lose weight. By the time she came to me, her resting blood pressure was dangerously high, and her arterial walls showed early signs of stiffening. She was 38 years old. The fix? If you fast, time it correctly. Fast? Break your fast no later than 10 a.m. And when you do eat, make sure the first thing you put in your body is not one of the habits I'm about to reveal next. Because numbers 3 and 2 on this list, they are far more common, far more dangerous. And I guarantee at least one of them is sitting in your kitchen right now. Number 3. Eating processed breakfast cereals, including the heart-healthy ones. Look at the box sitting in your cabinet right now. Does it have a heart on it? Does it say whole grain, low fat, good source of fiber? Good, because I want you to flip that box around. Go to the ingredients list, and I want you to find one word that tells me everything I need to know about what that cereal is doing to your cardiovascular system. Sugar, or one of its 56 disguised names. Maltose, dextrose, high fructose corn syrup, cane juice, brown rice syrup. The food industry is not stupid. They know that if they list sugar as the first ingredient, you won't buy it. So they split it. They use 3 or 4 different types of sugar, each listed separately, so none of them appears first on the label. But your heart doesn't care what they call it. Here's what happens inside your body every morning you eat that bowl of cereal. Your blood sugar spikes violently within 30 minutes. Then it crashes. That crash triggers hunger, cravings, and, most critically, a surge of triglycerides in your bloodstream. Triglycerides are fat particles that circulate in your blood, and elevated triglycerides are one of the most powerful predictors of heart disease that we have. More predictive in many cases than LDL cholesterol. A study from Harvard Medical School tracked over 75,000 adults for 14 years. Those who consumed high glycemic breakfast foods, like processed cereals, had a 36% greater risk of coronary heart disease, even after controlling for exercise, smoking, and body weight. 36% from breakfast cereal. I think about a patient named Robert, 52 years old, retired teacher. Came in for a routine checkup and left with a referral to a cardiac surgeon. His triglycerides were nearly 4 times the healthy limit. He was devastated. He told me, and with complete sincerity, "But doctor, I eat healthy. I have the same bowl of cereal every morning. The box has a heart on it." That conversation changed the way I practice medicine. The fix? Replace processed cereal with steel-cut oats, not the instant kind, which is just as processed, and add a handful of walnuts. Walnuts contain omega-3 fatty acids that actively reduce triglycerides and lower arterial inflammation. Your heart will feel the difference within weeks. But here's the thing. As dangerous as number 3 is, it's almost innocent compared to what's coming next. Number 2, adding this healthy fat to your morning meal every single day. I want you to think about what you cook your eggs in, what you spread on your toast, what you stir into your morning coffee. If your answer involves vegetable oil, margarine, or any spread marketed as a butter alternative, we need to talk. Right now. For decades, the medical establishment, funded heavily by the food industry, told you that saturated fat was the enemy. That butter would kill you. That vegetable oils and margarine were the heart-healthy choice. That advice was not just wrong, it was catastrophically wrong, and people died because of it. Here's the science. Vegetable oils, canola, sunflower, soybean, corn oil, are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 is fine, but the modern Western diet has created an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of roughly 20 to 1. The ideal ratio for cardiovascular health is 4 to 1. What does that imbalance do? It throws your body's inflammatory response into permanent overdrive. Your blood vessels stay in a constant state of low-level inflammation. Your arterial walls become sticky. Plaques form. And one morning, sometimes without any warning at all, One of those plaques ruptures. That's a heart attack. A major study published in the British Medical Journal analyzed data from over 458,000 people and found that replacing saturated fats with vegetable oils did not reduce cardiovascular mortality. In some analyses, it increased it. I had a patient, Linda, 49, who was one of the most health-conscious people I've ever met. She cooked everything in olive oil or heart-healthy spread. She read every label. She did everything right. She had a heart attack on a Tuesday morning after breakfast. When I reviewed her diet in detail, the pattern was unmistakable. Years of daily high omega-6 oil consumption had silently inflamed her coronary arteries. She survived. Barely. The fix? Cook with real butter, grass-fed if possible, or extra virgin olive oil used at low heat. Add fatty fish like salmon twice a week. Rebuild that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Give your arteries a chance to heal. But even as I tell you this, I need you to understand something. Everything I've shared with you so far, numbers 5, 4, 3, and 2, they are all significant. They all matter. But number one is the habit that I see in almost every single cardiac patient who walks through my door. It is the habit that no one is talking about. The habit that is protected by one of the most powerful lobbying industries in the world. And when I reveal it in just a moment, I think you're going to feel something between anger and disbelief. Because you've been lied to. For a very long time. Number 1. Eating breakfast with seed oils. Hidden inside ultra-processed morning foods. I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to tell you is the reason I almost lost my medical license. Not because I was wrong, because I was right. And the people who profit from keeping you sick did not want this information getting out. Let me paint you a picture. It's 7 a.m., you're rushing. You grab something quick. Maybe it's a granola bar, a protein bar, a store-bought muffin, a frozen breakfast sandwich. Maybe it's that heart-healthy whole wheat toast with the popular nut spread on top. Or even a store-bought smoothie that you picked up because the label said, natural ingredients, no added sugar. You feel good. You feel responsible. You think you made the right choice. And somewhere inside your chest, your coronary arteries are already paying the price. Here is what is inside almost every single ultra-processed breakfast product on the market today. Seed oils. Refined, chemically extracted, industrially processed seed oils. Canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil. These are not foods. They were not part of the human diet until about 100 years ago. They are industrial byproducts, created through a process that involves high heat, chemical solvents like hexane, which is a component of gasoline, and deodorization chambers because the oil smells rancid by the time it's done being processed. That is what you are putting in your body every morning, and it is hiding inside foods you trust completely. Now here is where the science gets deeply alarming, and I need you to understand this because this is not a theory. This is peer-reviewed, published, replicated science. When seed oils are consumed regularly, they integrate themselves into the phospholipid membranes of your cells, including your cardiac cells, including the cells lining your coronary arteries. These membranes are supposed to be made of stable, saturated, and monounsaturated fats. Fats that hold their structure. Fats that protect. But when polyunsaturated seed oils replace them, these membranes become fragile. They oxidize easily. They become vulnerable to a process called lipid peroxidation. Lipid peroxidation is essentially your cell membranes going rancid. Inside your body, inside your heart. And when that happens, your immune system recognizes those oxidized lipids as foreign invaders. It mounts an inflammatory response. White blood cells rush to your arterial walls. Foam cells form. Plaques build up, slowly, silently, for years, for decades, until one morning, it's not silent anymore. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Atherosclerosis examined arterial plaques removed from cardiac surgery patients. What they found stunned the research community. The plaques were composed predominantly of polyunsaturated fats, specifically linoleic acid, the primary fat found in seed oils. Not saturated fat, not cholesterol. Seed oils. Let me say that again so it lands properly. The material clogging the arteries was not butter, was not red meat, was not eggs. It was the oil that the American Heart Association has been telling you to cook with since 1961. I want to tell you about a patient named David. David was 47 years old when he first walked into my office. He was a high school football coach, big guy, strong, full of life. He came in because he felt slightly winded during practice. Nothing dramatic, he said, probably just getting older. His scans told a completely different story. 3 of his major coronary arteries were significantly blocked. He was weeks, maybe days, away from a massive cardiac event. I scheduled him for emergency intervention the same afternoon. After his procedure, when he was stable, when his family had stopped crying, I sat with him and went through his diet in detail. David didn't eat fast food. He didn't drink soda. He cooked at home. He was proud of that. But every morning, every single morning for 20 years, David had the same breakfast. A bowl of store-bought granola with low-fat yogurt and a protein bar before practice. Every one of those items was loaded with seed oils and ultra-processed ingredients. I pulled out the ingredient labels and showed him. He stared at them for a long time. Then he looked up at me and said something I will never forget. "Doc, I thought I was doing everything right." He started crying. This big, strong man, just crying. And I sat there thinking, how many more Davids are out there right now, eating their granola bars and their whole wheat toast and their heart-healthy spreads? Doing everything right, getting everything wrong. The answer is millions. Here is what you need to do starting tomorrow morning. Read every ingredient label before any food enters your home. If you see canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, or any refined vegetable oil listed, put it back. It does not matter what the front of the label says. It does not matter if it says organic, natural, whole grain, or heart healthy. Replace ultra-processed morning foods with real ones. Eggs cooked in butter, full-fat Greek yogurt with no additives, a handful of mixed nuts, whole fruit, steel-cut oats with cinnamon and walnuts. These are not exotic superfoods. They are not expensive. They are simply real. And your heart was designed to run on real food. The food industry has had 60 years to profit from your confusion. You have the truth now. Use it. You made it. And I want you to know something. The fact that you're still watching right now, that tells me something about you. It tells me you actually care about your health, about your future, about the people sitting at that breakfast table with you every morning. And that matters, because caring is where change begins. So let's bring this all together. We started this video with a simple but terrifying truth, that the most dangerous meal of your day might be the one you've been the most careful about. And now you know exactly why. Number 5, fruit juice, stripped of its fiber, flooding your bloodstream with sugar every morning, quietly feeding the inflammation that damages arterial walls over years and decades. The fix? Eat the whole fruit. Always. Number 4, skipping breakfast entirely, leaving your cortisol unchecked, forcing your body into a stress state that stiffens arteries and spikes blood pressure before you've even spoken a word to another human being. The fix? Break your fast intentionally. Break it with real food. Break it before 10 a.m. Number 3, processed breakfast cereals, even the ones with the heart on the box. Engineered to spike your triglycerides, crash your blood sugar, and keep you reaching for more. The fix? Real oats, real nuts, real ingredients you can actually pronounce. Number 2, vegetable oils and fake butter spreads. Marketed as health food for 60 years, silently tipping your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio into dangerous territory. Driving systemic inflammation deep inside your cardiovascular system. The fix? Grass-fed butter, extra virgin olive oil, fatty fish, whole foods the way nature made them. And number one, ultra-processed morning foods loaded with hidden seed oils. The real material building the plaques inside your coronary arteries right now. Not the saturated fat they blamed, not the eggs they demonized. The industrially extracted, chemically processed oils hidden inside the very foods marketed to protect your heart. Now I want you to do something right now, before this video ends. Go to your kitchen, open your pantry, pull out your breakfast foods, every single one, and read the ingredient labels with fresh eyes, with what you now know. If you find seed oils as canola, soybean, sunflower, corn, safflower, I want you to set those products aside. Not because I'm telling you to be perfect, but because now you know, and knowing changes everything. You don't need a prescription for this. You don't need an expensive supplement or a special program or a doctor's referral. You need breakfast, real breakfast, simple breakfast, the kind your great-grandparents would recognize without squinting at a label. Eggs, butter, oats, fruit, nuts, yogurt without the additives. That's it. That is the foundation of a heart that beats strong for decades. I've watched patients reverse early-stage arterial stiffness through diet alone. I've watched inflammatory markers drop dramatically in just 8 weeks, simply by eliminating ultra-processed foods from the morning meal. I've watched people who thought they were broken heal. Your body wants to heal. It is designed to heal. You just have to stop giving it reasons not to. David, the football coach I told you about, he made it. 2 years after his procedure, he walked back into my office for a follow-up. His inflammatory markers were the best I'd seen in a patient his age. His arterial walls had measurably improved. He had completely overhauled his morning routine. Real food, every day, no exceptions. He shook my hand and said, "Doc, I went back to coaching. My guys asked me why I looked so different. I told them the truth. I told them breakfast almost killed me, and real breakfast saved my life." That's why I made this video, not to scare you, but to give you what David got. The truth. And a way forward. Now here is what I need from you. Right now, in the comments below, tell me, what does your current breakfast look like? Be honest, no judgment here. Just tell me what you're eating. Because I read these comments, and your answer might help someone else watching this video have their own moment of realization. If this video opened your eyes, share it. Send it to someone you love. Your spouse, your parents, your best friend who has been eating cereal with a heart on the box for 20 years. One share could be the thing that changes their life. And if you want me to go deeper, the specific blood tests you should ask your doctor for, the exact meals I recommend to my own cardiac patients, and the morning routine that I personally follow. Subscribe and hit the bell. That video is coming next week, and it is going to be just as important as this one. Your heart has been working for you every second of every day since before you were born. It's time to start working for it. I'll see you in the next one.